Bitcoin has reached new all-time highs, and altcoins are starting to go absolutely parabolic, leaving many wondering, is altcoin season coming? And what are the top crypto projects performing today? Well, in the rest of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 20 winning crypto coins that I believe are still massively undervalued. But please understand, I'm not a financial advisor. In full disclosure, we do hold the cryptocurrency assets discussed in today's video. Cryptocurrency trading is very risky. Never risk more than you can afford to lose. And nothing in this video or any of my videos is considered financial advice, rather just sharing with you my own thoughts and opinions on the markets today. So if you like trading altcoins and finding those next hidden gems, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get started. All right, welcome back to the channel. We have some green in the market finally, but a few weeks ago, we made a video talking about our 20 winning meme coins, and I want to say congratulations if you watched that video, because virtually every single meme coin in that video is in profits from when we talked about it. And the reason why I think meme coins are going to outperform, as well as a lot of other crypto coins that are undervalued right now are going to outperform, is for, well, multiple different reasons. And the major reason, though, is because of Bitcoin dominance. You can see right here that the dominance has been dropping dramatically. Crypto Goose has said Bitcoin dominance is dropping hard, big sign for utility season. And just like in our last video, we're going to be ranking 20 crypto coins here, but these are ones that I genuinely believe are undervalued. Some of these are high cap, mid cap, low cap, everything in between, so do your research. But let's get started with our very first coin that I think is really undervalued. Has to be Near Protocol. Now I'm going to keep it simple in this video. We're going to keep it moving along, but if you look at Near Protocol, this has got to be the top AI coin right now. That's a layer 1 that has a market cap of $3.6 billion. Now, just taking a look at the chart, you can see that this coin has been all the way as high last year in 2021, 2022 of about $17, $18, $20. Today, it's still sitting at $2.96. Now, its lows all the way back in June here were $1.69 approximately to $1.96. That being said, if you zoom in on this, we haven't even got started for what I believe could happen next for Near Protocol. Again, being the number one AI layer 1 in crypto right now, this is an absolute no-brainer in my opinion. And I think that AI, that narrative, with Nvidia reaching all-time highs and going crazy on the stock market, it hasn't filtered into crypto yet. And that's what I really want you to understand in this video, is that we are thinking ahead of what could potentially happen next. You might say, well, Joe, Near Protocol is not exploding right now. There's a lot of other coins that are doing really well right now. Right, but the whole point of investing is to buy low and sell high. And I believe Near Protocol being near its lows, right? If you look at, it's still down 85% from its all-time high. That's where true value and good investments are made. Again, you're going to need to do your own research and figure out if Near Protocol is going to make it in your portfolio. So I genuinely think Near Protocol deserves a 10x. I would put it right around where it was previously, all-time highs back in 2021. Now, your number 2 coin is channel partner AI Tech. Now, this is a blast from the past. We talked about this coin literally about a year and a half ago, all the way back in January, February. And when we talked about it, it was at 6 cents. Then that coin absolutely exploded during the AI Nvidia season last year. It went to 27 cents. And if you look at how high it really went after that, again, we ended up catching this right around this area here at the 5 or 6 cents mark, right around January, February, making that video, went absolutely parabolic all the way to about 44 cents. So again, that's a clean 5, 6, 7x. And these coins, again, came from like less than a penny all the way to 44 cents. It's around a 40x, which is absolutely crazy. And I believe you genuinely have a similar opportunity sitting right in front of you. This coin right down here is now almost fully diluted, and the market cap is much smaller today than it was all the way back in March of 2024. So again, I believe this is a prime opportunity. I want to share with you some even more information on this project and some keys to really focus on. First off, they have over 500,000 subscribers and followers over on their socials. Now, I think this go around for 2025, the upside for not only this crypto, but many other AI projects is genuinely massive, because this project has truly delivered on their most core products, and their high performance data center just went live last month, which is a huge major milestone. And here's what's on the table going forward. They also have been featured in Binance Alpha. They have an 8,000 square foot data center in Europe, a core focus on AI infrastructure and AI agents, new team members, Deloitte, Kareem, and McKinsey, partnerships with IBM, NVIDIA, Fetch AI, BNB, and more, and recently listed on Uphold, one of the largest US digital asset platforms. They've also integrated with Fireblocks, BitGo, and Uphold to enable institutional access. And they've also signed with a major global company to utilize their data center compute for the next 3 years. So here you can see the marketplaces right now. One of the things that I want to point out to you is that it does have a lot of places for you to trade this crypto: Huobi, KuCoin, PancakeSwap, as well as MEXC. And there's a lot of volume and depth here, which is impressive for a project of this size. Another thing though, that if you look at, it's not on Coinbase, it's not on Binance or some of these major exchanges, quote unquote, yet, which is where I genuinely believe if it does get listed on some of those exchanges, that's where even more volume and attention can come in. Now, again, it's never a guarantee. That's just pure speculation. But we have seen the Coinbase or the Binance effect happen for a lot of these cryptocurrencies and projects. One of which I'm going to share with you in just a second. But that is a massive catalyst. That's something I'd definitely be paying attention to here with AI tech. So if AI tech gets those crazy listings as well as continues to build and develop, 50 to 100x is definitely in the cards here. And I want to share with you this project right now because we've seen many other projects get to these massive milestones, which then leads us to our third crypto coin, ChainGPT. Now, I was one of the first influencers to even talk about ChainGPT before it even listed and hit the market. So congratulations if you've been here on this channel. This coin listed for fractions of a penny. Today it is trading at 11 cents, and the Binance effect did end up coming into play here, all the way going to 44 cents back in January. You can see by clicking on the markets tab that Binance right here is one of the biggest exchanges in the world, and they have this crypto listed. The depth of 55,000 is very thick liquidity. Millions in volume is happening for this cryptocurrency asset. And again, I think looking at the charts purely from a perspective of over a year, you can see here that we are starting to reclaim the lows here right around 11 cents. And if that ends up happening and we flip these lows into support, this is where you can see that this chart has gone absolutely parabolic multiple times. So again, I would anticipate minimally coming back up to around 25-30 cents here, just on a bounce here with altcoins, because that seems to where the chart seems to want to go. And the reason I think this is because if you take a look here, we had some resistance right around 15 cents. If we get past that resistance though, that's where I believe we can go to the next levels. And with this market cap only being 100 million and the fully diluted being 100 million as well, there's no reason I don't think the ChainGPT can't do a 10 or maybe even 25x. Now your fourth coin is another crypto coin. AI has to be EOS. Now, EOS, definitely a bigger market cap, but this crypto, if you take a look at the different markets here, this one is on Coinbase, Kraken, some of the bigger exchanges today. That is huge to me. The reason why is because that's where a lot of attention comes, and that's where a lot of retail money comes, and even institution money is on Coinbase. So you can see here that their depth is $131,000 to move the price in 2%. That means thick liquidity is sitting here on Coinbase, as well as some of these other exchanges like Kraken and even others like KSEX, as well as Bybit. But one of the things I like about EOS is that it's actually down 84% from $2 over 4 years ago. So again, looking at the risk reward here, obviously getting this coin down at a penny was absolutely crazy, because this one over $1, that's over a 100x. Now today, looking at this coin right around 42 cents, that's still a 42x from the lows, and we ended up talking about this crypto coin all the way back when this first launched. So congratulations if you have been here on this channel. This project has definitely grown, but I will say that EOS from the price right now could genuinely do something very similar to Near Protocol, because it is a bigger market cap, right around a 10x. Now our last AI undervalued coin has to be Internet Computer. Now, just looking at this chart, you might say to yourself, Joe, this coin is gone, it's dead, the market cap is massive. I hear you, I understand. That being said, from a risk reward perspective, this one all the way as high as $20. It's sitting at $6 right now, down 98% from its all-time highs. Now, you can also see here that it is also fully diluted, meaning that whatever happens with this crypto coin up or down is you don't have to worry about a bunch of people who got in early unlocking and selling their tokens on you. Now, it does have a max supply and it is inflationary. That being said, if you click on the markets here again, it's on the major exchanges, Binance, Coinbase, and many others here, which again brings even more credibility to the project in my opinion. And a project of this magnitude being on the major exchanges, being at $6. Now, while I don't think this crypto coin necessarily is going to go back to its all-time high of hundreds of dollars, if it did, this is an absolute undervalued gem staring right in front of you that I just don't hear a lot of people talking about. If I were to be critical, there are some people talking about this. They do have some upgrades coming. That being said, it's one of those coins that I'm really just looking at the price as well as the market cap and volume and being at the right place at the right time for this to move back up. So because of that, I really do think that ICP could do a 10, maybe even a 25x from these lows if it goes absolutely parabolic. But now let's move on to the good stuff, the meme coins. These are high risk, high reward speculative assets, but there's been one coin that has outperformed the entire market in memes recently, and that is SPX 6900. If you look at this crypto coin, we ended up talking about this at these lows. You've already more than doubled your money on this one. Congratulations if you've been here on the channel and been paying attention, because this to me was the most absolute no-brainer coin. And the reason why is because one of the biggest influencers around meme coins is a gentleman named Murad. This is his quote-unquote portfolio of different meme coins. SPX is his #1 holding. He holds over 29 million of these, valued today at over $55 million. So yeah, he's incentivized, obviously, for this project to do very well. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but Joe, it's at all-time highs. Where is the value in this crypto project? Well, winners typically keep winning. But if you don't want to buy all-time highs and you feel like you've already missed this crypto project, well, I have some sleeping hidden gems here for you that I think you're going to love. The first one here is actually one of the top gainers of the day, and that is right here. It's called Doge, or DJI 6930. Now, I found this coin by scrolling through and looking at the top gainers here, as well as following many other influencers and being all over crypto Twitter. Now, this coin popped up just a few weeks ago, and I absolutely love the narrative here. So what is this coin? Well, first off, the price action has been phenomenal. It's sitting at a $35 million market cap at the time of this recording. And if you go to their website, they are focused on flipping the Dow Jones, where if you go and you look at SPX 6900, they're focused on flipping the S&P 500. So again, having a very similar narrative, one that's already proven to work, now flipping the Dow with the Doge, the three-headed dog here, I think is absolutely fantastic. This website also is very clear, easy to read, and I just really love the graphics here, the movement and the birth. This is the project I'm seeing a lot of people taking a shot at, and the reason why is because it reminds them, and the price action is very similar to the early days of SPX 6900. If you take a look, SPX 6900 right here at 3 or 4 or 5 cents, could you imagine getting in at that price before it went absolutely parabolic? Now, there's no promise that Doge is going to do what SPX 5900 did. Of course not. But if it does do something like that, you're looking at sitting on some crazy gains. So I genuinely think because SPX 6900's market cap is so big that a 5x is still potentially on the table. Anywhere between $10, maybe even higher for this one, is possible. But if DJI 6900 were to reach SPX's market cap, you're looking at a 50 to maybe even a 100x. And while I know that does sound crazy, that's just the math right now that we're seeing between the two projects. This one's at 1.7 billion. This one here is only at 35 million. So again, wanted to share with you similar narratives and things that are outperforming here in the market and things that may be undervalued. Again, these are just my opinion. Now, speaking of other coins that I believe are undervalued, one of them has to be GigaChad. Now, GigaChad looks like it's moving up here, sitting at about 2 pennies. This has been all the way as high already as 8 cents, a $200 million market cap. But the reason why I think this one's undervalued is because under SPX 6900, and a lot of people are looking at Murad's wallet, his second biggest holding is Giga. You can see he holds 70 million Giga, what is worth 1.61 million. And as we know about Murad, he doesn't sell his holdings. So if he is a big holder of this coin and he doesn't plan on selling, and maybe eventually he will, but he's still holding up the price massively for this one. The fact that this has the attention right now, but if you look at the price, still sitting at just 2 cents compared to its all-time highs, this coin right now is still 75% discounted from those all-time highs of approximately $1 billion market cap. And again, this coin, if you look at the markets here, is being traded on Coinbase, Kraken, and some of the biggest exchanges in the world. So Giga to me is an absolute no-brainer. And if this does big numbers, I believe 25x is certainly something possible for this project. Now, sticking to that very same thesis, another coin that's still down, but on the major markets right now is Popcat. You can see Coinbase Exchange, MEXC, Gemini. Some of the other exchanges like Kraken here have lots of depth for this cryptocurrency asset. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you look at Popcat right now, sitting at 39 cents, its all-time high was literally at around $2, which is absolutely crazy. So again, you can see this is still 80% off. And these coins, for whatever reason, once they break these resistance points and start a new uptrend, they can go absolutely parabolic for many months. You saw this with Popcat, went all the way to 31 cents, came crashing back down, made new highs, came crashing back down, made new highs, crashing down, and you can see that this can last for quite a long time. Now, I would expect more parabolic moves here, maybe back to the all-time highs. Now, because it's a little bit of a larger market cap, I believe a 10x is certainly possible for this project. I would put it in price discovery and all-time highs as well. And again, this is another huge holding for Murad. You can see he holds approximately $200,000 worth of Popcat. Now, your next meme coin has to be Toshi. Now, Toshi is the face of Base, and if you click on the markets here, this is one of, if not the only crypto coins right now. I think there's maybe one or two other meme coins on the Base chain that's actually listed on Coinbase. The depth here is also massive. You can also see it's on a variety of other exchanges. Now, if you don't know about this crypto project, it is named after Satoshi Nakamoto, and it's also named after Brian Armstrong's cat. Brian Armstrong's cat's name is Toshi, and Brian Armstrong is the CEO of Coinbase. And Coinbase not having a native token on Base, a lot of people are starting to speculate on what is going to be the major coin on the Base chain. Well, this one has been an outperformer and went absolutely parabolic when it got listed on Coinbase. Now that it's listed on Coinbase, it can be easily accessible for new people to find. And the fact that this one is still down 70% from 6 months ago, I think that this project is still very undervalued and is definitely a leader when it comes to meme coins, especially on Base. It has great marketing. I would not be surprised to see this 25, maybe even 50x as well. And moving right along in our tier list, we have to talk about some of the major crypto coins that are breaking out but are still undervalued in my opinion. And the first one has to be Ethereum. Ethereum is now at $3,600. Literally about 2 months ago, this was sitting at $1,500, more than doubled in value, which is absolutely crazy. Now, I believe Ethereum, though, is undervalued for a few reasons. First and foremost, if you look at it, it's still down 25% from its all-time highs, where if you compare it to Bitcoin, Bitcoin is sitting at all-time highs and in price discovery, even though it's down a little bit and in the red at the current moment. Truthfully, Bitcoin has still outperformed all the other altcoins, and Ethereum being the number 2 altcoin of all the altcoins, starting to lead the charge. I think that this crypto is still definitely undervalued. I definitely think Ethereum could double or triple. A 5x is a little ambitious because of how big the market cap is, but that leads us all the way into Solana. You can see Solana right underneath Ethereum, and again approaching those all-time highs. And this is where a lot of those meme coins do live and thrive still. They're on the Solana blockchain. People use the Solana blockchain. They don't want to deal with fees. It's quick, it's fast. While it is approaching a higher market cap, I think Solana could 4 or 5x from here still, and being 38% down from its all-time high is, in my opinion, a easy 3, 4, maybe even 5x if we go absolutely parabolic. And of course, everyone wants to know, well, what's the next Solana? Well, I think I might have found it. The chart actually looks very similar as well before Solana went parabolic, and that is Sui. Now, Sui is a $13 billion market cap, 40 billion diluted, so I don't think it's going to reach the hundreds of dollars. That being said, I do think that Sui could reach a new all-time high in this cycle and go into 50, maybe even $100 billion, if not more, which would put this cryptocurrency coin, which is currently at the time of this recording, down 25%, and on all the major cryptocurrency exchanges, Binance, MEXC, Crypto.com, as well as Coinbase, being one of the top layer ones that could 5, maybe even 10x maximally in this cycle. Now, another hidden gem sleeping coin that I think is undervalued right now has to be Sei. Sei is very similar to Sui, or Sui, however you want to say it, but again, this only has a $2 billion market cap and compared to 13. So if you look at the markets for this as well, it's also on the major exchanges, and it is a competitor. So people might think, oh, well, I missed Sui, and what's the next major crypto L1 that has very similar technology that's a little undervalued? This is where people start to look. And again, you don't have to overthink a lot of these things. You just have to watch the price action. It seems to me like SEI is actually lagging behind a little bit what SUI has already done. SUI was already up in these areas where SEI is a little bit behind. So again, I think the risk reward then could be better in a crypto like this. But the problem is, though, is if it doesn't get that attention and the narrative doesn't shift over here, then sure, obviously other coins can outperform it. And that's the hard part, is you don't know which coins are going to perform and when. And that's why it's up to you to do your research and also understand the risk rewards of these coins. But this one, to me, looking at the risk reward being down 68% compared to SUI, was around 20 or 30%, I think there's a better potential risk reward for this coin. And I think that there's a lot of institutional demand for this. So for that reason, SEI could potentially do a 25x here, outperforming some of these other L1. Now your next coin is one that I don't think is undervalued, since it is definitely at what all-time high at the time of this recording, but I believe still has room to keep going. Has to be XRP. Why? Well, it's a huge market cap, obviously, but when you invest in something like XRP, the market cap is really, it's a factor, but it's not the main reason why you would invest in this. Now, of course, investing in this all the way back at 50 cents is more ideal. And ironically, we made videos on this channel investing at this price point. So congratulations, you've already done a 6 or 7x here. And you can see our $100 investment in XRP that we have timestamped and documented is up over $574. So again, massive gainers for us here, and we have definitely been paying attention on this channel. But because it's such a high market cap, I can't see XRP going more than a 5x. That being said, this sitting at around $10 to $15 is not out of the realm of possibilities, and I can't really see it going higher than that, and it might not even reach those crazy valuations. But a 5x from here would put this right around $1 trillion asset, which would be crazy in terms of market capitalization. But that being said, when money pours into things, it really pours. And you can see this crypto is on all the major exchanges. It's the #3 crypto under Ethereum. And I believe it genuinely has a chance to potentially flip Ethereum. And that could be a huge narrative for it. You can see here, Ethereum sitting at 400 million. XRP is about twice as low, but I believe here that this could actually flip, and if it does, it's going to bring even more attention. People are going to flood into this, and that is why it is in our tier list. Now, another massively undervalued layer 1 has to be Avalanche. This is known more as the gaming chain, and we have not seen anything from gaming in literally years. So unfortunately, gaming has been really, really beat down. But this came all the way down to about $8 or $9, went all the way back to $60, and is now back right here, about to break out at around $23, $24 at the time of this recording. The market cap is at $10 million, but again, this one's on all the major exchanges, and this is where I'm looking at the charts here, this being also down 83% over 3 years ago at $144. If this were to go back to its all-time highs, you definitely are looking at a 5 or 6x here, and I think Avalanche could genuinely do about a 10x. Now, that's around $240 be the absolute peak if this goes parabolic and we get a crazy gaming run. Now, your next coin has to be Crypto.com's Chronos token. Just looking at the chart here, it looks like we're breaking resistance right around that 10-cent mark, and it looks so flat, and it's been flat for such a long time. There's a saying in crypto, the lower the base, the higher it goes into space. So you can see here that this crypto went all the way parabolic to about $1, and right now it's sitting at 10 to 12 cents. So if you scroll down, you're down 87% in 3 years, and Crypto.com has made some huge partnerships, one of which being the Trumps, and I believe that a lot of money is going to start flowing into Crypto.com. They have their new US exchange, and if you want $25 in free CRO tokens, you can simply click the links down below. But I genuinely think that the Crypto.com, if it goes absolutely parabolic, could do a 10, maybe even a 25x from the time of this recording. And that's because I believe it's still very undervalued, and the market cap being a $3 billion market cap for a major exchange like this one, I think compared to BNB, if you take a look, the market cap's at about 4 billion. If you then go to the Binance coin, which is number 5 right now of all cryptos, this is a $100 billion valuation. So again, not out of the realm of possibilities for Crypto.com. Now, next has to be another project that not very many people are talking about. It has to be Polkadot. Now, Polkadot, yes, it's underperformed. It's down 92% still from over 3 years ago, which is absolutely crazy. However, it's on the major exchanges, and I believe it's eventually going to get a bid. This reminds me of what Litecoin was a few years ago. And if you click on the markets here, you can see that's on all those major exchanges. Now, all this needs is one good narrative and crazy price action to come back into Polkadot, and you could see this coin absolutely fly. The reason why is because the market cap now is only at a $6 billion valuation. I say only, but compared to its competitors, they're in the hundreds of billions, if not tens of hundreds of billions. So to me, this is something to pay attention to. So I think a 10x is genuinely possible here for Polkadot. Now, the next coin that has to be on your list has to be IOTA. We ended up publicly buying IOTA tokens at 18 cents. Well, we're in the profits today, sitting at 23 cents, still down 55%, if not more, from its all-time high. In fact, from the all-time high of $5, literally 7 years ago, this has been a coin that's been around for a long time, but being down so much, I think it genuinely, now that it's more diluted, obviously it's going to be harder to push back up to those $5-6 levels, but it's only an under $1 billion valuation today. For something like this to 5 or 10x is not out of the realm of possibilities. And they just did their Stardust upgrade. They've made a lot of huge changes. And if you look on the markets here, the volume of this coin is insanely impressive. You can see literally millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars here, and it's even on some of the biggest exchanges in the world like Binance, MEXC, and many others. So for those reasons, I think IOTA could 10, maybe even 25x in this cycle, which leads us to one of our last crypto coins, Pepe. Pepe is literally just beta to Ethereum. It really just lags behind Ethereum, being the #1 meme on ETH still in terms of market cap, $5 billion. This already went all the way as high as 10 billion. If you look at the markets again on all the major exchanges, and it's just the meme of memes this cycle. It really went parabolic, went absolutely crazy. We ended up calling the top all the way back here in May of 2023, which was absolutely crazy. I remember this time that this coin went nuts. And again, it ended up bottoming here and then going absolutely crazy to the prices that it is today. But Pepe is definitely got to be on your radar. And I genuinely think this could 5, maybe even 10x this cycle if Ethereum does something very similar. Pepe is going to outperform Ethereum most likely. Now, as a bonus coin, as beta to Pepe coin is starting to trickle back up. Now, this coin went all the way massively as high as about $6, which is absolutely crazy. But this coin is sitting at a $57 million market cap, where Pepe is sitting at a $5.7 billion. That is literally a 100x difference. Now, I don't think that Pepe coin, even being the original Pepe, can catch up to Pepe's price in the short term. But in the long run here, if a lot of money from Pepe goes crazy, comes back in and finds Pepe coin, because it's, well, an easy beta pay for people to understand, and it's so undervalued in terms of the fact that it's down 91% still from its all-time high, and it's on some major exchanges as well. Pepe coin can genuinely be a huge hidden gem, 50x potential from the time of this recording. So there you have it. There is your ultimate tier list for undervalued coins at the time of this recording. Now, if you want to learn more with me and you're ready to become the next crypto millionaire like many of my students and I had become in the last cycle, simply click the links down below and enroll in my online course. We have a subscriber only discount only if you click the link down below now, and you'll learn step by step exactly how I find new hidden altcoin gems, my exact process, and I even share with you live recordings of how this happens so that you can find these new coins before they hit millions, if not billions of dollars in market cap. So if that's interesting to you, and that's where a lot of the money can be made, as well as a lot of my students have already made life-changing money with this program, click the links down below. We'll see you in VIP, and thanks for watching.